This video is on second part of the assessment criteria for speaking. We'll discuss the further two factors, grammar and lexical resource other than fluency and coherence, and pronunciation discussed in part 1 of the video. Let's take up the criterion of grammar now. This focuses on grammatical range and accuracy. Let's take up range first. For grammatical range, you should be able to use more than just basic grammar, which means you must demonstrate different structures such as mix of simple and complex sentences, conditional sentences, comparative structures, mix of active and passive voice, and appropriate use of modal verbs, where conditional sentences are the ones with condition. For example, I can surely give him my car keys provided he drives it slow. Comparative structures, on the other hand, are spoken when you have a comparison in mind. For example, her house is farther from office than mine. What are simple and complex sentences then? Simple sentences contain one piece of information, whereas complex sentences are multiple pieces of information spoken as one sentence. And these sentences can be joined by adding conjunctions or relative pronouns, such as not only but also, either, neither, which, when, who, as, and many more. Let me give you an example of complex sentence. One should learn English since it's a widely spoken language, but not to the detriment of local languages, which are supposed to preserve one's culture and tradition. In this sentence, three conjunctions, since, but, and which, are used to join four sentences. Complex sentences are very important for writing section as well. They fetch you good marks if you use them. Also try and speak mix of active and passive voice. Let me tell you what are these. In active tense, subject is important. For example, we should avoid long routes to the destination. Whereas in passive tense, subject can be omitted to start the sentence with the object. For example, long routes to the destination should be avoided. It's the same sentence, but the subject we has been omitted in the second one to start with long routes, which is an object here, making it to be a passive voice. So that was grammatical range. As long as accuracy is concerned, you need to make use of the grammatical structures and variety of grammar correctly. Though you're not expected to be 100% accurate, you must frequently produce error-free sentences. It's not the number of grammatical mistakes that are counted, but how effectively you're able to communicate matters. For accuracy, you must work on your tenses, since you can be asked questions based on any tense, present or past. And in part 3 of speaking test, you can be expected to speculate about future as well. It's okay to correct yourself in the exam if you make a mistake. And let me tell you again, practice is important. Now, the fourth criterion, lexical resource. It focuses on your ability to use vocabulary effectively. Consider these factors to get a good band score. Use less common vocabulary or expression. For this, try and use words or phrases that are not very commonly used. For example, phrases like larger than life, sail through, stumbling block. Now let's try and use all these three in one complex sentence using conjunctions. Shall we? Okay. Astrology at one point in time became larger than life element for me in wake of which my own beliefs acted as a stumbling block to sail through my own goals, since I'd stopped working hard, depending completely on luck. Next, demonstrate range of vocabulary. The wider, the better. Use synonyms to avoid repetition of words. Third factor would be use correct collocations. What is a collocation? It's an arrangement of words in a sentence, which means you need to make sure the words are correctly positioned together. For instance, we make an appointment. We don't take appointments. Very often I hear an expression, it doesn't solve the purpose. It should actually be, it doesn't serve the purpose. Solve the purpose is wrong. Now, how to improve vocabulary? Read or listen to authentic sources to learn new words. Don't cram them. Just make a very short list and start using them way before the exam. Because the words should come naturally to your mind when you speak. So, practice speaking them, else you may take pauses to recall words in the exam, which will impede your fluency. Also, the uncommon vocabulary that I just talked about, make sure is relevant with the context of the talk. Just don't use them because you know these words and you want to fit those in. It's better to not use them than use them incorrectly. Last but not the least, when you sit for the exam, take a deep breath, lean your back against the chair, relax. Just think as if you're chatting with the examiner. So, that's all about assessment criteria for IELTS speaking test. Watch my next video on full-length model speaking test. All the best.